A pleasant morning. I am Regine Santaines Garcia, together with my partner,
Andy Carpio, and we're going to discuss the weather fronts.
Hello everyone! Today we are focusing on weather fronts, the engines of weather change. A front is defined as the transition zone that exists between two different air masses. These air masses have distinctly different properties, usually involving differences in density caused by temperature, which also separates air masses with varying humidities. Now, how do we know a front is passing? Fronts are identified by several key indicators observed over a relative short distance. This includes sharp temperature changes, changes in moisture content, rapid shifts in wind direction, changes in atmospheric pressure and specific clouds, and also precipitation patterns.
So now, let's move on to the four main types of fronts, categorized by the how air masses interact. First is the cold front A. Cold front occurs when cold air displaces warm air. These fronts have a steep leading edge and are the fastest moving, typically advancing quickly at 24 knots up to 40 knots. Like for example, as a cold front approaches, winds shift and we often see heavy precipitation associated with towering cumulonimbus or CB or cumulus CU clouds. After the front passes, the temperature drops and suddenly the sky usually clears. So now, let's move on to the second type of front, which is the warm front air. One front involves warm air displacing cooler air because the warm air must overrun the cold air. These fronts have a shallow leading edge and move much slower, generally at 10 to 15 knots. Like for an example, warm fronts are typically associated with stratiform clouds and bring light to moderate precipitation, often drizzle. Before the front passes, pressure usually falls and afterwards, the temperature becomes warmer. And now, let's move on to the third type of front, which is the stationary front A. Stationary front is characterized by no movement. This happens when warm and cold air meet, but neither air mass has enough force to move the other, causing the front to remain standing and still. And then the last, but definitely the least, is the number 4, which is the occluded front A. Occluded front occurs when a cold front overtakes and catches with a warm front. So that's all, and that's the four main types of front.
In summary, weather fronts are the crucial boundaries separating air masses. And whether the front is cold, warm, or stationary determines the speed and severity of the weather changes we experience. Thank you. Thank you for listening.